Hi chaps, John here, Microaces. Welcome to Microaces Workshop once again and stage 4 of the Sopwith Camel build. Let's get straight down onto the build board and see what we've got here. Firstly, what we've achieved is in the last video is the tail onto the fuselage of the camel, all looking absolutely fabulous, and obviously all the surfaces are moving freely, which is great. Now on to so as I said, stage 4, lower wing. Starting to make an aeroplane rather than just a vehicle. Right, okay. Well, let's have a look. This spans over a few pages here. So we're going to make some serious progress. So yeah, 3 pages. Okay, let's just going to pop that over here so I've got immediate reference to it. There we go. Okay, let us start with our D14, which is some of this 2mm vector board, and it's these rather shallow ribs. So we just need a couple of these at the moment. So this is a couple of them. They're actually attached together and they're scored down the center. It's down to yourself to just run your knife through the center of these parts, like so. Being a bit namby-pamby about it there. There we go. So those are split off into our 2 parts. Now we're going to wrap them with some stickers, S10 and S11 to be precise. Now these have actually got graphics on. So let's just peel off S10. Doesn't matter which one this goes on to. Now this should wrap 3 sides of the rib. And what I normally do is I start on one side. In fact, let's use the tweezers. Not rely on my fat fingers to get in the way. So just attaching to the one flat side of the rib. See, it gets a little bit delicate down the long end. Just position that like so, and then fold it over gently along that bottom side. Okay, and then fold over once again, rolling it round. There we go. And that obviously then adds quite a bit of strength with that outer coating to the rib itself. So there we go. Set it down on the board, smooth everything down. There we go. And on to the next one. So that's S11. Now this should be a mirror image graphic of S10. The same process. So let's just fold apart, get the apex correct. Then Obviously what we're trying to do is just match the edge of the 2mm foam to the edge of the sticker. Which, with my fingers, is easier said than done. Here we go. That's a better position. There we go. And then use our little folding process. Rolls around. There we go. Thing is straight as it can be. Okay. So there are our two ribs decorated with the sticker. Now we need some wings. Let's just grab our wing packs. So the lower wings are obviously the two. The upper wing is the single wing there. So we just need to cut this clear of our sprue. Nearly good to go. And one wing, two wings. Okay, and also these wings obviously got a score in them which runs on the underside like that, and that allows us to just neatly put in that crease into the wing. It gives it that undercamber. I've sort of overbent it slightly so that the ribs aren't forced to curve, and there should be a nice little graphic that shows you where these ribs go. Now that one, if I put it there, it's so you can see the graphics are wrong for that side. So I'm going to grab the other one, and that's a much better fit. All of the graphics look to line up on the roundel, and the line that represents where the aileron is, that also is pretty accurately positioned. So what I can do now is just add a little bit of glue to the exposed side of the rib, top edge. I'm just going to pop that into place. In fact, once again, because it's quite a small piece, I get my fingers out of the way. I've got a bit of glue on the roundel there. I'm just going to wipe that off with my finger and just make sure that the excess is off my finger when I bring it back to start playing around with this part. So what you're trying to do is make sure that it is right on the edge of that slot there. So I'm just running the knife down the slot just to make sure that we've got room for the what will be the struts to extend through. Just making sure it's positioned where I need it. And I can just pop it to one side to set, and then Once again, it's all about the dry fit, isn't it? Just to make sure everything is where it should. This has got a bit of a curve on it because of the way that the sticker's gone down, but we'll use the glue to bring that back into line. So there we go, everything seems to fit pretty well. Just pop glue on that rib. Just the top. Bring it into place. Make sure we have our slot showing, so we can get our struts through later on in the build. So I'm just going to run the knife through the slot just to make sure. I think we've probably got a little bit of glue in the slot, so the knife will do a good job of removing that. But what you will find is that you get glue on your knife, which will then hinder your next cut. It'll essentially blunt the knife by coating it in gum. So what we can do is just clean the knife off. I don't advocate trying to rub the glue off the blade. That's not the best way to do it. What we're going to do is I'm just going to apply some of the lighter fluid to a small brush, and then just wipe the blade with the brush. Go, and that should get all of the gum off the blade. Good. Carefully just wipe that down, and the lighter fluid will eventually evaporate. Good. Okay. So we've got our two wings here. Just give that a little bit extra bend to it. And the next stage of the build is the central brace of the lower wing. So we need this little piece here. This little piece also requires a plastic part. So let's just grab our plastics. And the part that we need is P10. Yeah. Right, so let's just stick that onto the 2mm. I always gum, especially with the blank parts, the blank plastic parts that obviously don't have any print on. I always gum the shiny side, and the reason for that is that if you gum the matte side, it tends to then make the part go slightly transparent, but in a very mottled way. Not that this part will ever be seen because it's buried in the fuselage, but it's just one of those things when you're building, you like everything to look neat, don't you? So we've got that, and we also need the D12, which is this one with the little hole cut out of the middle of it. This forms the center part of the wing. Just bit of sand. Go, and then what we do is these two halves on here. This isn't one part. This has got a score down the centre of it that we've got to cut through. But these parts end up sticking together. So what you can do is, rather than going all the way through and cutting them into two pieces, you can just run down the score until you're almost all the way through. And then you can fold them out. In fact, I'm not all the way through that. I'm not enough of the way through that score to fold, but there we go, that's better. So they just fold over like that. So what I can do is just gum the area on one side of this this part, so bring that together by just folding them like so. And then this should sit onto our central brace. So I just need to reduce the size of that slightly so it goes into the slots. I'm just squeezing it together. Bring that down. Still a bit tight. I'm going to try and remove some of the foam from the sides there. Well, that seems to be good. So I'll just be a little more diligent about it. Press home. There we go. That's better. So that's where it's supposed to go. So I need to glue that down now, although it's pretty well wedged in. Apply a little glue around that area, and then hopefully this will slip in a lot better now. There we go. That's fine. There we go. Right, let's turn the page. All right, it's time to make our wing brace, which is this rather large piece across the top of the frame. Okay, then these two bits at the side. So this is actually the dihedral brace that will allow us to pop the lower wing in and let the glue set. So literally just, this all just slots together. We've got some little pointy arrows to show you the way that both of these slot in, and it also, those arrows not only obviously allow you to get them both in the right direction, but also shows you that's the front of the wing, and that this will be the rear of the wing when it sits into the frame there. So we've got the frame together. Let's just grab our wing brace, and then what we do is we attach this wing brace to one of the wings, and there's a little piece here that slots, goes through the slot in the wing, like so. And the wing glue's on there, so we'll just glue that into place. We can be fairly generous with the glue here, because obviously this is modestly structural, although there are other adhesion points for the lower wing once it's in position. So let's just pop that through the slot. That should come to rest on half of that brace. So you'll notice that the brace is actually, it's got an angle to it that indicates the dihedral, and hopefully will help you set that dihedral too. And we can bring this other side down. I'm just squeezing that the little protrusion there so that it goes into the slot. We'll just check that everything comes together. That's fine. And we'll add some glue to attach the second wing. There we go. And then add the second wing onto the structure. Through the slot. And then we can sit that onto our brace. Oh, it's all falling to pieces. What I need to do really is to let that side, the U-hoo on that side, just dry, so that we have a bit of a sort of a contact adhesive moment. So that's what we'll do. I'll just pause for a second whilst that dries off. I'm trying to use the glue as a match. That's not going to work. I'll be back in a sec. Okay, a few minutes have gone by. We should have enough tack and stick here now for the whole structure to hold relatively firm. There we go. So now I can pop this onto the brace. So the arrows at the side there indicate the direction of the wing itself. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to turn it upside down so I can see what's going on. There we go. So that's just going to sit like so. Turn it over like that, and then the wings are just going to rest there. While it is drying, I'm just going to put it to one side. Let's just pop it over here. And whilst that's happening, we will start shaping our Z9. So, which is actually W9 on the sprue. So this little beastie here, that actually forms the underpart of the fuselage, and it covers over the internals of the wing itself. So let's just pop that over there, and we'll just extract this from the sprue, like so. And we'll need the instructions back because we need the, well, dragging everything with it now. So we don't need the plastics, don't need the stickers, don't need the signal. What we do need is the scoring guide. There we go. this is the part here, and you can see that those scores just go down these little angled parts of the edge. So, but I don't want to score it. Don't want to score it whilst I can see the graphics. I want to do it on the internal side of the part. So, ruler. So you'll also notice that there is there's a notch that's actually been lasered into the part just up here. So that gives you another indication of where we're going to score. So we just go down there. So we'll give it a couple of goes. Bit of wandering yoo-hoo. And then I'm going to do a 360. Ooh, knife up the wrong way, or the right way, which is the wrong way. And score that a couple of times. There we go. Okay. Just wanted to check something here. That's fine. Good. So let's go back to our page. 17. I'll just remove that from the frame for now. And so we've got our scores here. Just take off a little bit of that sprue that's left from taking it off the frame. And these need to fold up to the side like so. At the moment they fold, that's fine, but immediately return to shape when let go. So what we're going to do is just fold them over the wrong way, and using the smoother side, just remove some of the material from inside the fold, and hopefully that'll allow them to fold over a lot better. So still springs back a little bit, so let's continue. That's not too bad at all. And there is a little an extra trick that we can do, a little tip to help with the build. Sorry, I'll do that with. I've got a bit of a wobble on. So there we go. So that's good. So they just fold up to the side like so. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run a little bead of glue down each of the seams. So and then we'll just leave it. But what that means is that when we do bend it up, that glue will help with keeping it in place, and it'll be dry, so it'll be doing its contact adhesive thing. Okay, just pop that to one side. Let's just check on our wings. That looks pretty good. CA is dry. Okay, well we can get rid of that now. We don't need any more of the wing brace. But what we do need is a fuselage to attach the wings to. So this is the area we attach the wings to. And there's a fairly simple way that just all slots in like so. It's a relatively tight fit. It should all go into the right place like so. And as it's dry fitting, I can just check that we've got the dihedral going on still there. Oh, quite a tight fit, that's good. Splendid, I like that. So all we need to do now is obviously just glue this into place. The contact points, the important contact points, obviously we need some glue here, or the wings, but we won't use all of it because obviously that's a lot of glue, that equals a lot of weight. But also these, where the side of the fuselage touches the top of the wing, that's a good contact point. We need to obviously reduce or remove the gap, or any gap that's there. So having some glue in that position really helps with that. So just going to put a bead through there. And then I'm going to put some onto the 2mm, just to make sure everything sits where it should do. Just go down the skin here as well on this side. Okay, let's do this. So we'll get it settled at the front, like so. And squeeze that in at the back. There we are. It just needs a little bit of wiggling to get into place. Excellent stuff. So we've got the wings on. Now the last part of this process is to then place the covering at the back there. Now I'm just dry fitting, and I can see that the material here is sitting a little bit above where it should do. So what I'm going to do is just see if I can squish it down. The vector board is quite malleable, so I'm not sure that's going to work. So what I'm going to do is, if everything else is all right, I'm going to change blade. So I've got a nice sharp blade. That one is, as I said earlier, is quite old now. Grab a new blade, and then hopefully we can just use it to shave off a little material. I could actually sand it, but I actually prefer carving this material. So let's just see. Okay. Cuts quite nicely. Just going to even it all out. Go. Take a little off here too. So popping this part on is not as easy as it would seem. I've forgotten how difficult, well, not difficult, but how fiddly it could be to get everything sitting correctly. And I think there's a little bit of trimming that's going to be required to get everything sitting nicely. That includes, after dry fitting, just removing some of the material that folds down onto the wings, under the wing. So I'm just going to trim a few bits off and then bring it up to the wing again and see how we do. So that seems to be a better fit. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to start gluing this in place, getting the glue in the areas that's needed. So firstly we'll just go down the center line where that comes into contact with the part under the wing. And then just along this edge here where it touches the rest of the fuselage skin. And then on these edges here where it comes up under the wing, then along the sides where it comes into contact with the foam, the 2mm foam. So let's just get some up on this, on these edges as well. And once again, we're going to use the contact adhesive quality of the glue. So what I'm going to do now is bring this into contact, with all of the areas. So making sure everything's got a bit on it on both sides. It's got a bit messy, so we might be using the lighter fluid a little bit later just to clear everything up. Right, so we'll let that dry to a contact adhesive consistency and then come back and attach it. Okay, we're back. So this should now be able to cover over the base of our wing. Put those sides in. Just going to use some of the tools that we have to help bring everything into place. You'll notice that the side flares out slightly as it reaches the apex of the wing. That's absolutely fine. Actually creates quite a nice bit of support for the wing on the underside. Okay. So that's all nice and square. There's a little bit of excess material at the front. You can probably see it just there. And I'm going in left-handed, so watch out. Yeah, that worked quite well. So there we go. that's all in place now. Like with anything, it's all just fiddling around a bit as well, just to push everything into place, smooth everything down. We get great fitment. And making sure that everything is pressed down as the glue thoroughly dries. So I think we've got a little bit of glue there. We might be able to just rub that off with our fingers. There we go. It's gone. Gone, gone, gone. So that's all looking good. So I think we can pretty much say the lower wing is now on. Just check it, just to make sure the dihedral is equal, which it is, which is fantastic. And the wings are even and equal. So basically just putting the nose down on the deck, making sure the aircraft is, the fuselage is standing vertical, and you can see that the wings, just checking distance. Yep, they're looking good. So there we go. We now have our lower wings on the aircraft and everything faired in so that it looks good and proper. Great stuff. Well, that was a little more difficult than I thought it might be, or I remembered it being. Maybe I just made a bit of a meal of it. But hopefully either yours will go smoother, or there's enough information there to ensure that you get your wings attached in a satisfactory way as well. But thank you ever so much for watching this particular episode, and I shall see you in the next. Thanks very much for watching. Bye-bye.